いものを目かえと結局癒せない渇きをだけどきっと望むのをやめなければいつかは満たされたふりはしないで Believe in your intuition 強がりも羨むことも必要なことなの限界を決めつけないどこまでも私たちもっと自由なまま輝ける All of I can do Fake and fake and true Fake and true Fake and true 諦めるよりもでも伸ばせ Get it down, get it down, get it down じゃいかなでもわかるでしょ Get it down, get it down, get it down なれないどうしてネガティブにしちゃうの憧れや夢だと胸を張って語ればずっと夢見かけても叶えば本当自分でさえも驚かせちゃおう Little Alice I know I can やり遂げた先の快感 Love, life, fun, work 色つき始める Can't dance ここでいいそれでいいの私なんてその言葉本音と偽りどっちなの All of fake and true Fake and fake and true Fake and true Fake and fake and true 解き放って心遠慮しないで Get it now, get it now, get it now 大事なのは勇気とImagination Get it now, get it now, get it now All of fake and true Fake and fake and true Fake and true Fake and fake and true 諦めるよりも手を伸ばせ Get it now, get it now, get it now じゃいかなでもわかるでしょ Get it now, get it now, get it now
Alright, here we are. So, we're going over what is essential for a garage. First of all, we have a socket set for impact driver. This is not necessarily essential, but a 3/8 socket set is, which we have here with the Quinn. This one's best. This one's great because it's whatever point. What is it? It doesn't say. But you can actually grab the round star pattern sockets with this. 10 to 22. And then you want to have glasses, which you can see I have a bunch just because they're disposable. You also want to have some gloves because having gloves gives you better leverage on what you're grabbing. But plenty of glasses. These are almost done with. I could throw them out. These are the ones I regularly use, and these are like almost new, but they're kind of dirty. because the dust in the air. I was painting, so there's flakes all over everything. But anytime you're getting under the car, you want to have them on, because shit's falling straight down. You have gravity effect, and it will fall in your eyes. If anything is pressurized, fuel lines, or anything. And then if anything's spinning fast, a drill, rotary tools, flywheels, anything at all. The torque set is not necessary, but having the 3/8, I think universally, just your basic working on a car is going to be a 3/8 set, so you're going to have all 3/8. So having that torque wrench wouldn't be bad, but it's not essential. One of the number one tools is adjustable wrenches, because they're multiple sizes. You don't have to have all of the wrenches. These are long wrenches, which are better than regular ones, but if you're in tight space, you need regular ones, or even stubby ones. Then you have ratcheting ones, where maybe you're in a space where you can only turn like a quarter of a turn on a nut, and those work with the pivoting heads or the regular ones. I don't really ever use the regular ones, and these will get into odd spaces, but I rarely use those. This is your main set you want, just a basic average wrench combination set, metric and standard. That's all spare accessories. Impact, you need an impact. You can buy a cheap corded one, if anything. And then we have more gloves, because these gloves are clearly done for, because I was just painting and they just have a lot of hours on them. The hacksaw, that's only if you're doing like customization stuff. You need a screwdriver. It is mandatory. You need a needle nose, and you need basic pliers. These are great for getting clamps and stuff off if you're pulling your coolant lines on a vehicle. You need a file, just any file, because sometimes you need to work something down a little bit. This is ball joint forks, which I use more than anything else. It's just a universal tool. If I need to leverage something out and just pop it free, I can smack onto that with the hammer and it'll get the job done. These are nice because you can get them like oil pan, shove it up in the oil pan and break free the silicone, so you can get an oil pan off anything that's sealed. It is a very useful tool. These are great because they'll just cut through stuff, but they're not mandatory for starting off. The thing here is you have your screwdriver, right, with the set, and so you don't have to have a bunch of different screwdrivers, so it's more compact and universal because you can use it on all the different types. The star patterns, the square pentagon patterns, or whatever the hell it's called. These are our extractor set, which are not mandatory, but if you have bolts that are rusting, you can hammer that on and it'll do good at the mop. These are great because they can get down in tighter spaces. This is just random sockets that kind of get thrown in here. And then you have your pry bar set, which is not bad priced. I just got that because it's better at pulling oil pans, but it works. Then you have abrasive materials. This goes on the drill, wire wheel, Scotch-Brite. If you're dealing with a gasket, you can Scotch-Brite off all the past residue. I would not let the residue get in an engine because that will clog up your pickup for the oil, and then you have to tear all that out and replace it or clean it out. Gloves, your mandatory thing, just having them around. if you're doing an oil change, it's too easy to put gloves on and not get oil on your hands. Tool bags. At least having one tool bag, because it's easier to just throw what you need in the bag and carry it around instead of having a whole tool cart. And then you need hammer. This one's probably the best that I just got from Harbor Freight, where you can take the ends off. This one I've been using for the longest time, but then I bent it. And then a heavy metal hammer, where if you're really needing to pound on something. The engine hoist, only if you're pulling engines. If you're in a driveway, it's not that important. You may be able to just rent one. A vacuum. This is my recommended choice. What is it called? The Bissell. Because it's not just a shop vac. You can use it in the house or whatever. Detailing in the car, it's great for. A small compressor, you don't need anything monster. Just something to air up tires or blow around some air, clean out some spaces. Like you have your gaskets and you need to like get up in there and just blow out all the dirt so it doesn't get in it whenever you're resealing it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. A battery charger, but a trickle charger is what I used for the longest time until here recently. The car is not running, so the battery's not charging at all. So I have to have a charger on it whenever I'm trying to start it. A Dremel's okay. All this stuff's not really necessary for starting out. The mini press, this is my bare minimums. I try not to buy too much stuff because it's like I'm not doing this full time. Here's a stubby set, which is better for tighter spaces. And then welding crap. Yeah, that's really it. The most important things is your socket set, and we have our breaker bar that we carry in the car. Anytime you're working on suspension or whatever. And then the wheel lug set is in the car. But yeah, quickly running down, you have your sockets, your 3/8 torque it, whatever. I would probably buy a digital one. That one kind of sucks, but it works for me. Your picks are okay. They come in use actually. Pivoting head helps, but not mandatory. This is your mandatory. This is your mandatory. You can put these on your tools. We burnt out our impact driver just the other day, but it's what I use the most with the 3/8 socket set, which some are missing. No, I had just found them the other day. Right. Cleaning supplies. Degreaser. Windex. Then your bags. In the bags are all the loose sets. I mean, there's some of them here, but for the impact, this is 1/2 inch. So our big pieces are just all in the bag. But yeah, you really don't need a lot of extra crap. I have salsa bowls for like oil. If I need to lube something up that I'm using or clean something off or whatever, to have oil, then I can just dump it into a cavity or something as well. I can't believe how useful these have been. Oh, here recently I've had acetone, right? I'll put some acetone in here, then I'll have my rag. You need to have rags, disposable rags, maybe recyclable, but I can dip it in acetone and just like use a little bit and like rub off some material cleaning something. then dip it back in here, or even with the oil, dip it in here, get some oil, lube up whatever it is I'm trying to lube up. That way it's just too much of a pain to be dealing with this by itself when you have a container for it. And the salsa bowls work so freaking good. It's crazy. And they're like 50 cents at Walmart maybe. That's really it. I try to be bare minimum. Because the whole theme... Right, so the whole theme on the setup is... Oh, you need a light. A light is super useful. Not this one particularly. I think the battery died. The one I use the most is the Milwaukee one. I think it's actually in the car. Yeah, because I am using it under the dash. The M12 one. These are freaking, you can buy a dash kit, pry bar, plastic pries, which I just got actually to pull the dash apart. But yeah, light helps too. The whole theme on the shop is, it's not a shop, it's my garage. It's having a setup that's mobile. Alright, so we have multiple tool bags that I can just throw all the shit in and go. If I'm taking the car to the track, I can't take a bunch of rolling toolboxes with me. And I mean, come on, let's get real. I don't have $1 million and I didn't come into $1 million shop. So I don't have a fucking big rig out front. I've got my truck and the trailer, so the tool bags are the best option. Oh, you need a jack too. I carry a jack, and then I have this jack. So if I'm going to the track, I'll have 2 jack stands, maybe 3. I don't need 4. And take the jack, the tool bags, and that's it. I mean, these 3/8 set, I can just carry them with me, throw them in the truck. I have my twin star pattern set. I can put this together, throw it in the truck, and be on the road. I mean, I haven't done this yet. I've been to one event so far, but we're getting there. Just rebuilt the car and all that, so that's a lot actually. It's smoking and I'm dealing with everything that's going on with that. But for the garage, this is the only toolbox I need. I can fit everything in it. The cart is just my... It's my arm's reach working. I can hold it to the car and pull bolts off. Like, it is full of the stuff I'm doing right now. The injectors be like, oh, I'm popping the injectors out. Just throw them on the cart. Oh, boom, boom, got these bolts thrown in the cart. It's not like, oh, where did they go? They're in the cart. Everything I'm actively working on. I've got my V-band clamps I need to replace, so it's like, hey, here on the cart, this is what I have to do. This is what I'm working with. I got my gloves on the cart. The hammers stay on the cart because, like, oh, hey, I need to grab a hammer, just like whack this ratchet, this wrench loose. And so, yeah, that's why the cart is like a really good thing to have. But if you don't have a garage, if you don't have a driveway, if you don't have the space for it, then the tool bags are your primary option. And then I can just be like, oh, it's out of the way, we're not working today. Now I have room in the garage to do whatever else I'm trying to do, even though it's still way too dirty. Oh, this is useful. A magnetic whatever. Because, oh, while I was working on this, I dropped that bolt. Oh, I don't have to crawl under there. I can just grab it with an extendable magnet. I need a smaller one to get into smaller spaces, but this works. One of my most used things. This is the set for the impact driver, which had just broke. It broke because oil got into it and it burned up the motors. And I just don't really need to fix it right now, so I haven't. And I'm thinking about buying a 3/8 stubby impact instead of this, because all these other bits will still fit in the drill, which worked. So 3/8. I'm thinking like, oh, if I'm sticking to all 3/8, then the 3/8 stubby works, and then you have your 3/8 ratcheting over here. This one, which I have it in the car right now because I'm using it. All the electrical stuff's in the car right now. That's just to pull off the panels. What else? My chair. This is just like a lot more convenient. And this is what I use to put the lines on the car for the stripes that are going to go on here soon. I cannot believe I'm doing this. But yeah, the chair's just, it's not too comfortable, you know, you don't want to get too comfortable. But if it's like, oh hey, I'm working on this, or whatever, and let me just throw my crap in here, grab whatever I need, like scribble on something to where I'm a little bit more organized in what I'm doing, and things are consolidated to where I'm sitting if I'm not using the cart. If it's like, oh hey, we got the freaking wire wheel, we're working on something over here, and then it's like, oh, just put it under here for now, and then it comes with me. Like, oh, now I'm doing this. Yeah. You could do, someone was like, oh, what if someone breaks in here and steals your crap? And I'm like, dude, there's really not a lot invested in here. This toolbox was probably the most expensive thing. And it was on freaking sale for Christmas. That's the only reason why I actually did get it. It's like I needed something with drawers. It's nice to have things organized. But it's not necessary. The gantry crane out front, it is super useful pulling engines, but it's limited. It doesn't fit in the garage. And it's what I use to carry this. I unload and load the truck with stuff like engines or whatever. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not that complicated. You need funnels if you're doing oil. The compressor, tools and tool bags. I mean, with the tool bags and the tool set, you're looking at maybe $100 if you're really trying to get decent stuff, then $200. This Quinn set was like $10 freaking on sale at freaking Harbor Freight. So I was like, hey, this is great. And then come to find out, oh, I need these to work on specialty parts, the star pattern. What else? Hammers. We went over hammers. Gloves, staying clean. Because it's easier to put gloves on. Like I have these hoodies that I work on the car with, just so debris doesn't get on me. Put the gloves on, and then just take off the hoodie, take off the gloves, and I'm clean as I was when I started. And you have your level of gloves, right? So, are brand new. I think I buy them 3 pairs at a time. Which, actually, we're going to throw these out because they're done for. Like, these are fresher. There's a little bit of oil on them. Probably just from being in the glove. But these are fucking wrecked now that I've been doing all the painting and everything else. But for $5 for a set of 3, change them out once a month maybe, depending on how often you're using them. But when you put these gloves on, it's too easy to put these on and not have the disposable, because the disposable are, you're working for 3 or 4 hours on something. But these are like, oh, I need to just not get dirty, grab it and running the fucking drill for a little bit. Because there's oil and crap that gets on the drill. The moment you're grabbing the drill, you're getting dirty. Or with, you have your 22 here, you have extra grip. And it's just a better dynamic. Like there's a cushioning here, so like these impacts like this on the wrench are not as devastating as if you did not have the gloves on. And if you smack your thumb on something, it's not as bad because you have a little bit of cushion there. But like the disposable gloves, it is like you're working on gaskets or you're tearing the entire engine apart. And if it's like, oh, I'm dealing with these bolts and I gotta like put them in there, these gloves, it's like there's extra room here where you can be fumbling around with stuff. So the surgical gloves, whatever you want to call them, are going to be better because you can actually be more precise with what you're doing. Yeah, you really don't need a lot. Having the long wrenches, having the adjustable wrenches, you need a full set of these. I've got 2 or 3 12 inches, the others are in the tool bag, and then 10 inches, and then 8 inches ones. And so, they're different lengths too, right? This one's 12 inches, it's got a lot more leverage. But if I'm up in a tight space, like I'm up under the drawer, 8 inches might be what I'm working with. So, the tie rods, you don't have to have your wrenches to do those. You can use adjustable wrenches. You can use them on all sorts of shit. I have no clue what size the suspension is to adjust the toe and everything, but I use those and it works just fine. I don't even know what size the nuts actually are on that. And sometimes you're getting parts that, oh, this is an aftermarket part and it's metric, or this one's standard, and so you don't even have to memorize all that crap. The adjustable wrenches are too good. The small compressor we talked about. Some sort of organization is fundamental. So I think I have some here. No, I ran out. I'm pretty sure I ran out at this point. But when I'm tearing apart the engine, I have organization. Your number one go-to is going to be Ziploc bags. So I pull all the exhaust manifolds off. Let me get an example. Alright, I forgot about this. The kitty litter. I was going to mention it with a cup for any oil spills. That way you don't slip on them and it cleans it up. That's like essential. But here we go. So we're working on the engine, right? And this is actually ideal. I pull all of the bolts off of the, what is it called? Cam retainer. Overhead cam retainer. Right? And I have all the bolts. And I'm like, oh, I put all the bolts for the left side in here. Left cam. Oh, they're not gonna get lost. And what, you can buy a whole thing of Ziploc bags for $5 and you won't even use all of them. 50 bags and you'll maybe use 10 of them tearing the entire engine apart. And then on another one you can write intake bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 intake bolts go in this one bag. we put them over here in our pile of bags. And then, oh, our cam bolts in the bag over here. That way everything's organized and you're not losing all of your shit. But yeah, that's a thing. Is your organization is going to make a world of difference in comparison. I need to charge this. So, having shelves, having a drawer, having your containers over here, right? So, I'm on a little bit next level than the Ziploc bags. I still use them if I need to. But, as you can see, maybe, if I get all the crap out of the way, I've got these buckets from Harbor Freight, and there's a piece of duct tape that says exhaust. So, my exhaust bolts are going in this bucket as I'm pulling it off. My bell housing bolts are going in this bucket as I'm pulling them off. And then all of the head bolts go in here because I just replaced all of them. These started getting damaged. I can feel it right now. It's like bowed out. So all of these got replaced, and those are the old ones. And so now I have extra bolts. Like, oh, I need one of these bolts. Is this one any good? Yes, this one's good. This one's not good. And so I can use that even later on, just as a general bolt storage. Yeah, you don't have to have $1 million to do that. And that's the thing with me. I'm an old guy, almost getting there, and my money was wasted youthfully, and so now it's like, well, I need to really budget every dollar, and so do I need to buy this? Do I really need to buy this? For these pivoting heads, it's like, I do not want to spend more money on this stuff, but these right here are fundamental for what I do. And then the breaker bars, like, I absolutely have to have this stuff to do what I need to do. The screwdriver, these forks I've had for like 20 years. These pliers, these specific ones I've had for like 20 years. These pliers with dikes in them I've had for like 20 years. Let's see what else. These snippers I've had for like 20 years. I just use them in a general sense any way that I can. I just bought these long needle nose because if I need to reach down and have like an operation game sort of situation, which just happened the other day. I dropped a washer in the fucking engine from the top side. So I would have to tear the entire engine apart to be able to get it out if I didn't have these to just, you know, like, oh, this is so important, don't miss it, grab it. Otherwise it would just destroy the engine if I left it in there. Basically playing Operation, that game where it's like, if you can't grab the thing. The paper towels, they're expensive. I would buy the rags and wash them a few times until they're like done for. They're more reusable. Like this rag, it's dirty, but if I wash it 1 or 2 times, I'll get 6 months out of it, as opposed to the $15 for a single roll of towels. It's outrageous. I can't believe it. I do not like buying those. But you gotta clean stuff up sometimes. A ruler of sorts. A ruler is really nice to have. And then markers. You need to have markers. I have red markers because red is like really easy to see. And this will make someone's life a million times easier. And I started doing this. Yeah, I'll try to show it. Maybe we can see it. I don't think it's really visible. But over here on the starter, I can show it, yes. It's visible. I have to take the camera off. Alright, so this is the outer and then this is the inner. Alright, so you have them on here. When you're pulling them off, they're on the vehicle like this. And it's like, oh, my alignment is specific. And so, if I take my marker and I put it on here, and I mark a line on here saying this lines up with that line at this point, then you unscrew it. Then it's like, oh hey, when I'm putting this back on, it goes up to that point, and then we line the line up, and it's fairly close to its original alignment. So the markers are a fundamental thing. And that's not even $5. You can buy different color ones for different things. If you have 5 bolts on your bell housing, then one's blue, one's red, one's yellow, one's green. And hey, there you go. You marked everything and you know exactly where to put it back on at because it's color coded. It sounds dumb, but it'll save your life. Things I wish I was not too over ambitious earlier in life to do. If I would have took the time to do that sort of thing earlier, then it would have made a difference overall. But now that I'm doing that sort of thing, it makes things so much easier. Let's see, an oil pan just to drain fluids. I mean, that's a given. The light, 3/8 set with a 3/8 breaker. I have one here, maybe. I have the 3/8 here, and I have one in the car. So if it's like I have 2 of them that I need to work with, and then adjustable wrenches, and then all of the stuff like the hammers, the adjustable wrenches, the breaker bars I can throw into the tool bag, grab my impact, and hit the road. Being mobile. Because I'm not an actual shop. I'm a race car driver. No, not really.